trying to find the right way to walk.
Stay.
Baby, side me, guide me, try me, I wanna walk in your life.
I've been looking,
Searching, trying to find the right way to walk.
the Lord is my light, my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. And whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemy, of the things I put all in thee. Believe you got the world in your hand. You bless me, Lord, I know I can stand.
Show me the way, Lord.
I will be faithful, for I am desolate and afflicted. Lord, show me the way.
I want to say to the people that are watching us live on the internet, good afternoon. And as always, it is good to stand before you on the Sabbath day. Today I'm going to do a lesson that's titled, Man and His Helpmeet. Man and His Helpmeet. You know, sisters and brothers, somewhere along the line, somebody don't understand what God was doing when He created man, male and female. And we're going to examine this a little bit, because when it comes down to it, sisters and brothers, we have a lot of brothers like to use the term, I'm the head of the household, I'm the head, I'm this. But when it comes down to it, God made you the head. You don't have to keep telling people. If you have to keep telling somebody you the head, then maybe you are insecure. Remind me of this president we used to have some years back, always said, I'm the president. Ain't nobody else, mister. But the whole thing is, especially among Israel, when we start to find out that God made the man head, sometimes our ears close up. We don't want to listen to women. We don't want to cooperate. And everything we do sometimes is right and nobody else is wrong. But I'm going to see what God put down here, because the Lord is the one that set this thing in order, sisters and brothers. A lot of time we have problems and we have certain stresses that goes on in relationship that really don't have to be. All you have to do is follow the word of God. That's why I say over and over, I don't counsel. You don't need no counseling from a flesh and blood man. All you need to do is read this book. That will counsel you. And then again, too, you have to practice an old saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, even your relationship. Because too many times we forget God made this woman to be a help that's suitable for us. That don't mean slave. That don't mean kicking box or talking down to an insult. It's all that simple. We're going to start this in Genesis, the first chapter, because too many times things go wrong that should not go wrong. And we have it in our mind sometimes, fairy tale. We look at too much television and we think things supposed to be hunky-dory and rosy all the time. It's not like that, sisters and brothers. There's always going to be a disagreement between people. Like we used to say in the old days, sometimes the tongue and the teeth don't get along. Sometimes the teeth bite the tongue. The tongue don't say, I'm out of here, pack up and jump out the mouth. Because it can't. So when you get some real understanding of the word of God, it can't fit you too, unless you want to deal with consequences. We're going to start at verse 26, Genesis 1 and 26. Go ahead.
And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Go ahead.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
Now the Lord created man. That covers male and female in his own image, physically. So when he created you in his physical image, that means that you have the capacity to grow to his spiritual image. Ain't no shortcomings. You sometimes shortcuts yourself. Go ahead and read.
And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth.
Go ahead.
And subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Now look, sisters and brothers, the Lord letting you know that he said he blessed them and he commanded them, sisters and brothers. This is a joint venture. He spoke. Now at this point, man and woman, the woman rather had not been, a man and woman hadn't been created. God gave them directive before he even dug them out of the ground. So now we're going to bring them forward. Let's go into Genesis, the 2nd chapter. Genesis chapter 2. And we're going to start at verse 7. 2 and 7. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Go ahead.
And man became a living soul.
See, this is learning something on your way to learning something. When the Lord took man out of the ground, he breathed into his nostrils and man became a living soul. He didn't put a soul in you. You are the soul, sisters and brothers. When you become something, that is the sum total of you. But skip down to verse 18. Now I got this man. Now we got to see about this woman. Verse 18. Go ahead.
And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him.
So he said, it is not good that man should be alone, because he pulled this man out of the ground. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a help that's suitable. That's meet, sister and brother. Good, that's suitable for him. He didn't say make him a slave, an object of contempt. I'm going to make him a help that is suitable for him. Skip down to verse 21, and let's see it happen. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man.
Now we're going to see later on why the Lord took the man out of the woman out of the man, rather. We're going to show that, because the Lord he could have gone back to the ground and come up with another handful of dirt. You know that old song years ago, he took 100 pounds of dirt? Most misleading. Man was here. He took a rib, not 100 pounds of dirt. And he made the woman, because this tells me something, that she is a part of him. So if she's a part of you, then you decided you're going to talk her down, hit her upside the head. Will you talk yourself down, hit yourself upside the head? You know, I knew a guy did that acting crazy one time, and he actually went crazy. He was in the family. Distant family. But he took this woman out of the man and made her to be his help. Go ahead and read.
And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman.
Go ahead.
Because she was taken out of man.
Now this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. So Adam named her woman because she was taken out of man. That's how you got your name. God named you man. Adam named you woman. But still you a man. If God named you, that's it. You're just a female part of him. Go ahead and read.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
So the Lord made it known that once you become husband and wife, then everybody else is secondary. But I want you to understand, sisters and brothers, sometimes you brother, way on this, well, you know, or you my woman, so I don't want you dealing with your family. But she got to go home and live with her family. If she get in trouble, all she can call is her family. You're going to cut her off from her family, then what you going to do when she come for you some money and you broke? All the Lord is telling you is try to work things out yourself, sisters and brothers. But that is once you are husband and wife. Not friend and friend, not associate and associate, husband and wife. Under one roof. Sleep in the same bed. Not I sleep in my mama's house and you sleep in your mama's house. So he brought him forth. And God had a reason for that. Because he wanted to make sure that this man understand that this woman is him and he is her. Let's go into Matthew the 19th chapter. Matthew the 19th chapter. Because a lot of times, sisters and brothers, drama come upon people because they don't know what God wants. And it would behoove you to find out what he wants and how you have to behave. You cannot be a servant of God and behave contrary to his word. I don't care who you are. A true servant of God don't have to open their mouth. All you got to do is watch them operate. Their behavior will tell you that they're a servant of God. We're going to start at verse 3. Matthew 19 and verse 3. Okay, go ahead.
The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have you not read?
See, listen, but let's say this here. You know, for every cause. I'm going to tell you, that's what Israel was doing. That's why Moses come up with the written divorcement. Because this Hebrew would get away, get his wife. You look, well, your hair ain't right. I'm through with you. You got morning mouth. I'm through with you. That's what it was, sisters. That's why I said for every cause. You notice that? You think that we are not our Father's children? We have not changed. Go ahead and read.
Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
This is what Jesus answered these people. Go ahead and read.
And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother and shall cleave to his wife.
You see what Jesus did? He took them to the scripture. That's right. That's what I'm saying about counseling, sisters and brothers. If you go to the scripture, you don't need no counseling. Because who's a better counselor than God? Have you not read in the beginning, he made them, both of them one flesh, male and female. Go ahead and read.
And they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore there are no more twain, but one flesh.
Go ahead.
What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
So when did God join you together, sisters and brothers? When you stand in front of a preacher saying, I do? No, he joined you together in the creation. When you marry, you just found your wife. But once you find her, she yours. Just like he reached inside and pulled a rib, said, this is yours. He said, and this was not intended to be no temporary condition. Go ahead and read.
They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a written of divorcement and to put her away?
Why did Moses do what he did then? You know, he's the prophet of God. There ain't no prophet like him. What did Jesus say? Go ahead and read.
He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But
Moses, because of the hardness of your heart. The way I see some brothers treat sisters and brothers, I'll be wanting to say, sister, just walk. I got to admit, I did say that to a few of them. I said, because the guy is out of his mind. So I have to pray and hope God don't hurt me for that. But sometimes I see him really suffer some abuse. But Jesus said, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart. In other words, because the way that some of these brothers are treating these sisters, I'd rather see them walk. You know, this is a lesson to evil. Because if he keep dogging her like this here, one day when she set dinner in front of him, it's going to be his last supper. Or either wake up in the night and most of his skin and his face is going to be laying on the pillow. So the whole thing is, he said, because of the hardness of their hearts, he suffered to be so. Go ahead and read.
Suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so.
But from the beginning, it was not so. You know, I get a lot of brothers coming, well, we can have more than one wife. I said, according to what? Well, according to the law. I said, yeah. Then they're going to cite David and Solomon and a lot of the priests. I said, yeah. When they get through talking, I said, but let's go back to Genesis, the first chapter, and see how many wives did the man have. See, the Lord set everything in order in the beginning, sisters and brothers. And when you break the order, you break the peace. It's all that simple. So now, he said, in the beginning, it was never so. We're going to read the book, whatever you do with it. Don't matter to me. This is the Lord talking to you. Go ahead and read.
And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
It's all that simple. I don't even have to comment on that. But I tell people, hey, I understand Moses perfectly, sisters and brothers, because I see a whole lot of it going on, especially among Hebrew Israelites. In fact, that gives us a black eye. When you say I'm a Hebrew Israelite, oh, how many wives you got? Oh, y'all don't talk nice to your women. Y'all subjugate your women. I said, not us, not the Israeli God. I said, if a brother doing that to a sister, he's doing it behind my back. I find out about it. I'm going to tell you, you do it. Well, I ain't going to tell you this guy that intervened in the fight and hit a guy upside the head. I ain't going to tell you who he is because he beat his wife, hit his wife in the public. Then he asked the guy, why did you hit me? Because you hit this woman. This is my wife. I said, okay, then if you beat her at home, you won't get hit. Oh, did I say? The guy said. Okay, the guy said, if you beat her at home, then I won't be there. But if you do it in the streets, I'm going to whoop your head. I ain't limped off. You know why? Because if you was that bad, how come you didn't take on the guy for going upside your head for hitting your wife? Because sisters and brothers, I tell brothers all the time, you got a mama and you got sisters. Like when at the old class, we work in the parking lot. They had a van over there. And they was trying to rape a little girl. And we went over there. Me and the brothers went over there and took her out of the van. Young boy walking around and doing one of these numbers to me. I said, boy, what if that was your mama or your sister? That's my old lady. She can't be because you want to let all these other guys abuse her. In other words, this hardness is still here, sisters and brothers. Man of God is supposed to be elevated above that. It wasn't supposed to because maybe you got a gift from somebody. Let's go into Proverbs, the 18th chapter. Proverbs chapter 18. Because, sisters and brothers, the Lord put together a good combination. It have been working. Can't change it. I don't care. You try to throw a man in there with a man. That don't work. Try to throw a woman in there with a man. That don't work. It only worked the way the Lord designed it. And you can't mess it up. Because, sisters and brothers, just like the Lord tell you to look out for the welfare of your brother, you're supposed to look out for the welfare of your wife do. Think in your mind. And same thing with the sister. Think in your mind, would this please my old man? Oh, the sister, would this please my brother? Would this please my woman? I knew I wouldn't want it done to me. If I don't want it done to me, then I ain't going to do it to him. I'm not going to do it to her. Proverbs 18, and we're going to read one verse. Verse 22. Proverbs 18 and verse 22. Okay, read it.
Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. And obtaineth favor of the Lord.
And if you do find a wife, we're going to get a little definitive on this just a little bit. So, but you find a good thing and you have obtained favor from the Lord. Now he's sending you something good and you abuse it, you are offending the Lord because you didn't appreciate what he sent you. It's a good thing. Believe me, it is a good thing to find a wife. Just like it's a good thing for a woman to find a husband. But let's go back up. Let's go to Proverbs 19 and verse 14. 19 and 14. Go ahead and read.
House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord.
He said, look, Read that verse again.
House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord.
And it said a prudent wife. You know, we don't know about the inheritance because, you know, we as a people, we don't have nothing to leave nobody. However, he said a prudent wife is from the Lord. Prudent, this is a woman that thinks and helps and try to further the welfare of the whole household. That's a prudent wife. The Lord send you one like that. But then every now and then, the ball is dropped. Let's back up to Proverbs, the 12th chapter. And we're going to read one verse again. Proverbs 12 and 4. 12 and 4. Go ahead.
A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband.
Yes, sir. She always doing the right thing, and you're proud of her. You walk around, I'm pleased, always talking about your wife. However, go ahead.
But she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones.
But a woman that makes you shame all the time is just like rottenness in your bone. Always running them out, talking about things they shouldn't, getting in everybody's business. You can tell what she is all the time because there's always a crowd. And a crowd, well, you know, I got this little bitty tidbit I need of what I ran into. Girl, didn't you know? When somebody brings somebody else's business to you, you should walk on across the street. But sometimes, sisters and brothers, the type wife that a man have is dictated by his behavior. Because I've seen guys do some ugly stuff, and then finally the woman get tired and she started to get ugly. Oh, man, look at this woman, man. This is what I got to deal with. Well, she wasn't like that when you met her. Sometimes you have to look and you have to listen to some of these women. See, that's what happens sometimes. Us men, we don't like to listen. We think if a woman come up with something good or do it first, we have by some kind of way become undercut. We are less than a man. Let's go and look at the father, see if they listen to something. We're going to start this with Father Abraham. Let's go back to Genesis, the 16th chapter. Genesis, the 16th chapter. Because I'm going to tell you something, sisters and brothers. Most of the things that families, women and men and women fall out about and families break up about is really nothing. If I'm hungry and I got to go somewhere and get something to eat, you can't provide, I do what I got to do. I'm hungry and I'm starving. Well, but you know, you slept too late today. You was 10 minutes getting home. That TV too hot, loud. Maybe she got a hearing problem. But sometimes, sisters and brothers, it's good to go back because God gave this woman as a help that's suitable for man. Sometimes advice ain't good, but you don't tar and feather her for it. You understand? Verse 1, go ahead.
Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children. And she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar.
Go ahead.
And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her.
Now this is a bad move. You understand? But the Lord allowed it for his reason. But you try that now. Well, you know, you told me to do this. That's all right. You should have been stupid enough to do it. I'm through. Go ahead and read.
And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
Uh-huh.
And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
Uh-huh.
And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Now, all of a sudden, now, when she conceived, she hated her mistress. You understand? Why? I don't know, but I can do a little reason. Maybe she's saying those days when women had a baby boy, they was looked up to. So, hey, you can't have no children for the man, so why should you own him? He mine. Bad business. Bad business. That was the last of it, right?
Yep.
Let's go into Genesis, the 21st chapter. Because sometimes you do things and it come back to bite you. And you want to put the blame somewhere else. What Sarah should have did was just waited on the Lord. Because she got mad with the woman because she hated her and put her out. But the Lord said, no. And told the woman, go back home. And she had to accept it. Verse 1, go ahead and read.
And the Lord visited Sarah and as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age at the set time of which God had spoken to him.
So because God wanted to bring the seed that he's going to make a covenant with out of Sarah. So now he told him, well, you're going to have a son by your wife. And I'm going to make my covenant through him. Abraham didn't want to believe that. Well, can you deal with Ishmael? He said, no, your wife going to have one. And she conceived at the time when the Lord said she was going to conceive. Go ahead and read.
And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac.
So she named him Isaac. So Abraham threw a big feast. Skip down after he had grown a while. Skip down to verse 8 and go ahead.
And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned.
Go ahead.
And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking.
Look, I didn't see nowhere where he made a big feast to Ishmael. You understand what I'm saying? So now, he made a big feast to him. Maybe Abraham was a little partial there, but then Sarah saw this boy mocking. There's a little jealousy on his end, ain't it? You didn't do that for me. Go ahead and read.
Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son. For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac.
Hey, wait a minute. The only reason this bondwoman had a son was because of her. So maybe the woman wasn't too straight here, wasn't she? Now cast him out. I don't want them to have no inheritance. Yeah, but wait a minute. This is Abraham's son too. You understand? Go ahead and read.
And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. And all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Whoa. You mean God went along with this woman? Sometimes, sisters and brothers, even when you make mistakes, and you see he was wrong, sometimes God would kind of like fix it. He said, look, go ahead on. Hearken to this woman. Do what she say. But then God took care of Ishmael, sisters and brothers. Go right on down. Read the next verse, brother. Go ahead and read.
And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed.
Then he turned around and told Abraham, but I tell you what, go ahead on and throw him out, but I'm going to take care of him, because I'm going to make a nation out of this bondwoman, because she is your seed, Abraham. So he's confident in him. Because had it not, there wouldn't have been nothing but conflict down through the generations, sisters and brothers. So Abraham listened to this woman, and God told Abraham to listen to this woman, sisters and brothers. But then let's go and look at another woman. Let's go and look at Rebekah, Genesis the 25th chapter. Genesis chapter 25. See, but nobody teaches these kind of stuff and deal with this kind of stuff. That's why you have all kind of conflict that you should not have. God have something for everybody, sisters and brothers. Well, you know, I'm a New Testament Christian. No, you ain't no such thing as a New Testament Christian. Because if you don't have no understanding of the old, you can't understand the new. Because Moses brought the law, but Jesus brought the testimony. You know what a testimony is? Something you have to testify of, something that's already been said or done. If it haven't been said or done, how can you testify? That's why people tell you, well, you know, Christ come in the New Testament. I can teach Jesus out the Old Testament. What about the pie in the sky? Daniel's told you about him coming with the cloud. What about the resurrection? Daniel's told you about it. Isaiah told you about it. David told you about it. Just about every prophet in the book told you about the resurrection. What about that white throne judgment? Daniel's told you about that. In fact, when you get to Malachi, the whole story have been told. You want to know about the resurrection? You say you're an Old Testament scholar. I don't go to the New Testament and teach it. I teach it to you out of the Old. But if you want to know about it and you're a New Testament Christian, okay, then I will go and show you prophecy in the New Testament. Because the book is warned, sisters and brothers. Man don't have the mental capacity or the authority to try and break it up. You just don't do it, sisters and brothers. Now let's look at Rebekah here. Genesis 25, and we're going to start reading at verse 20. Genesis 25 and verse 20. Okay, go ahead.
And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Now look, the Lord let her conceive, and she had twins, and they struggled within her. And she said, why is this so? These twins. Go ahead and read. What verse?
We're in end of 22.
Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
He said, now you got 2 nations in thy womb, sisters and brothers. You can see them right now. It's us, Israel, and the ones that the Lord told you in Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9 that say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. That's your twin brother. And we got into it before we was born. The Lord said, you got 2 different nations in your womb. I'm going to separate them. Just like what the Lord put together, let no man put asunder. What God separate, who can put back together? It would behoove you to know that and understand it. Go ahead and read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elders shall serve the younger.
See, the Lord is calling this thing even before they are born. So one's going to be stronger than the other, and the elder is going to serve the younger. Go ahead and read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment.
Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name Esau. He's the oldest son. He figured all birthright belonged to him. Go ahead and read.
And after that came his brother out. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Now, she had these twins. What happened, sisters and brothers, is that as they got grown, Jacob was a farmer and Esau was a hunter. Esau went out to kill some animals because Jacob said, I'm getting old now. I'm about to die now. So I want you to go and kill me some venison and bring them back. Because so I can eat and my heart can bless you. In other words, I'm going to bless you after I eat. But what happened was, the mama overheard the conversation. She told Jacob, get on out there and get me a couple of them nice lambs down there. I'm going to fix them the way your father want them. And you going to go there and you going to give it to your father. He going to eat. His soul going to be pleased and he going to bless you. Why is it that she had to do that? It's because they had already come to a pact, sisters and brothers. Esau went hunting, didn't kill no venison. Came back home. Jacob sitting there with his pottage, I guess eating, humming. You know how it is when we eat good. Esau said, give me some of that pottage. He looked at him. If you sell me your birthright carries the blessing too, sisters and brothers. Esau said, I'm here at the point of dying. So what good is a birthright? Jacob said, whatever, give it to me anyway if you want some of this pottage. Give me the pottage. So when he ate the pottage, he had sold his birthright. Ain't that correct? That was a legal transaction. But to tell you the strength of this man, one day you don't eat and you figure you about to die. So when the blessing time came, let's see what happened. Let's go into Genesis, the 27th chapter. That's why sometimes, sisters and brothers, we need to pay attention. Sometimes the Lord reveals things to people and we don't know. You understand? So, when it got time for the blessing, let's see what happened. Verse 1, go ahead.
And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I.
Go ahead.
And he said, Behold now, I am old. I know not the day of my death.
Go ahead.
Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison. And make me savory meat such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
Now, when he told Esau that, Esau was supposed to tell him, No, Dad, I sold my birthright to my brother Jacob. That's what he was supposed to do. It's just like going out and buying a car and you didn't drive it off the lot. Well, I'll be back as eating and you come back and deal and say, What you talking about, man? You ain't paid me for no car. So what you going to do? You're going to sneak when the sun go down and steal your car that you bought. What this was tantamount to. So what did Esau, instead of saying, No, I sold to Jacob, what did he do? Go ahead and read.
And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying,
Go ahead.
Bring me venison and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death.
Now Jacob knew the deal that they had made. But he was scared. Go ahead and read.
Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death.
He said, Now you go on down there. I'm going to make it just, she done been cooking for him all his life, so she knew exactly what he liked. So I'm going to fix it. He going to eat it. Bring it on and he going to bless you. But what did Jacob say? Go ahead and read.
And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
Go ahead.
My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing.
Now he is putting up resistance. What does his mama tell him? Go ahead and read.
And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch me them.
See, sometimes people know something you don't. Just like Rebekah knew something that her husband didn't know, neither did her son know that God had already called a pecking order. But he did it by way of the woman. So now, Isaac didn't know that Esau wasn't supposed to get the blessing and the birthright. Jacob, even though he sold it, he didn't believe he was going to get the blessing and the birthright, but the woman knew it because God told her. And when he come down, that's exactly what he did. He got it. And his brother was upset about it. But skip right on down to verse 41. Verse 41 and go ahead.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Because when Esau came back, he said, Father, okay, I'm ready. Jacob said, Hey, who are you? I'm already blessed somebody. And they shall be blessed. It couldn't be recovered. You understand? So Esau hated his brother because he had to steal something that he had already purchased from him. And you hear people nowadays talking about, well, you see, Jacob stole Esau's blessing. That's how is it you're going to try to quote something out of my book? So Esau hated him. Go ahead and read.
And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then shall I slay my brother Jacob.
Then I'm going to kill him. You understand? Go ahead and read.
And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee.
So now the woman, she know her son. She know Esau would do it. But the Lord told him in the blessing, Isaac told him, you're going to live by the sword. You understand? So she know this guy would kill you. Go ahead and read.
Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran.
Now he said, now I'm going to send you down to my brother's house. She sent him down there to protect him. But she used another tactic. But skip down to verse 46 and go ahead.
And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life be? Do me.
Now she went into her husband, acting like she was grieved because she didn't want Jacob to take a wife from among them Canaanite women. Those are daughters of Heth. Lord already told you not to deal with strangers, but that was before the Lord told you that. So she used, these women out here is messed up. I don't want to marry one of these women. I want you to go to my brother's house and get you a wife. She wasn't interested in getting a wife. What she was trying to do is save his life. Because Esau said, I'm going to kill him. But she used a marriage card. Took it to Jacob. This dude didn't have a clue what was going on. Let's go on to Genesis, the 28th chapter. 28, and let's start at verse 1. 28 and 1. Okay, read it.
And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padanaram to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother.
Now, who brokered this whole operation here? Rebekah. And you going to say this woman is dumb? And she can't take the point sometime? It all depends what her knowledge lies, sisters and brothers. She knew what God had told her. So she sprung into action. Well, she should have waited for God. People tell you all the time, well, you see, you have to wait for God to go. Well, maybe when God come and tell you to spring into action, it's time to go. She sprung into action. She saved her son. But then in the meantime, her son actually went out there and got him a wife. In fact, he got him a couple of them. So let's go look at this. I'm just showing you how, sisters and brothers, that when you go and you check out the fathers, how women are always intertwined with decision-making and discussing with their men. Because the Lord created her to be a helpmeet, or a help that's suitable for you. But you got to feel that when she sprang in, it does not question your manhood. She got a good idea, roll with it. Got a bad idea, don't roll with it. Bad idea when Eve took it to Adam. He rolled with it, slew all their children. Bad idea when Job's wife took it to him. He didn't roll with it, and he was restored to better than what he was. These things, sisters and brothers, but at least listen. Now let's go into Genesis, the 29th chapter. There's some other factors in this too that we need to look at, sisters and brothers, because we have to pay attention to what the Lord is doing. Because if we don't, we might end up in trouble. 29 and verse 16. We're going to start at verse 16. Now Jacob went down there, and he saw Rachel, and he fell in love with Rachel. And he said, I want a wife. So his father-in-law, his mother's brother, okay, you can have her, but you got to work 7 years for her. He said, Jacob worked 7 years, and it was just like a few days to him. You'd be surprised how it is when you really want something. It ain't no problem working for what you want. But sometimes when you don't get what you want, then duty got to kick in. Verse 16, go ahead.
And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored.
Go ahead.
And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
I mean, that's some love, ain't it? I'm going to work for 7 years for this woman? Keep reading.
And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me.
Okay, he went for the deal, didn't he? Go ahead and read.
And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had to her.
So he worked for this woman for 7 days, for 7 years, and just like a few days, because he really wanted her. Go ahead and read.
And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her.
He said, now give her to me. So this guy pulled some shenanigans here. What did he do? Go ahead and read.
And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. You can part all you want. You ain't going to slip the wrong woman on me. So what did he do? I know what he did. He got him drunk. I ain't going to go into my world of exploits, but believe me, that can happen. You get drunk and wake up the next morning, who are you? That's what he did. He threw a great big party. He got him drunk. He slept with this woman, and when he woke up, this the wrong woman. Take her back. Did he say that? What verse are we?
We at verse 24.
Verse 24, go ahead and read.
And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for an handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me?
Man, what you done to me? Go ahead and read.
Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me?
And that's what it was. He deceived him. Go ahead and read.
And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
That might have been some handy information, wouldn't it, before he went to work? It'd been nice of you to let me know that. Then I would have walked. But it's too late. So what did he do?
Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
You notice Jacob didn't say take her back. We're going to show you why. Read the next verse. Go ahead and read.
And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also.
You see, nowadays we would have said, hey, man, no, you done deceived me. I don't want this woman. But look, the father, got him drunk and gave him his daughter. So who was the culprit in here? The father. The woman wasn't the culprit. Neither was Jacob. Both of them was victimized. But he worked 7 years and got the other sister, but he didn't put Leah away. You know why he didn't put Leah away? Let's go and show you why he didn't put Leah away. Because once he had laid with this woman, sister and brother, don't nobody want to know it. But I'm going to tell you like it is. Once you lay with the woman, that is your wife. Nobody paid no attention to what was said with Hagar, the handmaid. Sarah gave her handmaid to be wife to Abraham. But we don't want to do that. You understand? Because I ain't going to say it. But brother, you know what I'm talking about. But Jacob said, just took her. He didn't put her away because I'm going to show you why. Malachi, the 2nd chapter. See, people don't like to teach this kind of stuff, sisters and brothers, because, it kind of indicts too many people. I don't care. It indicts me too. But when I stand before the Lord, that's in case I don't make the first resurrection. I might not be perfect, but I sure taught it right. A lot of time I was teaching it, I was bleeding along with everybody else, but I taught it right. 2 and 13. Malachi, the 2nd chapter. We're going to start reading at verse 13. Okay, read it.
And this have you done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regarded not the offering anymore, or receiveth it with goodwill at your hand.
Now you're always crying, oh Lord, this ain't so bad. When you gonna bless me, Lord? Please bless me this and that. Always whining, but the Lord ain't reacting. Then you gonna ask him, why won't you hear me? And we're gonna see the answer. Go ahead and read.
Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth.
Is it because the Lord have looked the way you have behaved with the wife of your youth, the wife of your covenant? Go ahead and read.
Against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant.
He said, you're having hard times. Ain't nothing working for you. You're making money just like putting it in a bag with a hole in it. Why is it that I can't advance? He said, because I was witness between you and the wife of your youth. Ain't she the wife of your covenant? You went into agreement. Lord, I've been watching that. Sometime your life is upside down. You can't get it together. And you going to pray and the Lord don't hear. The Lord don't hear this prayer of a sinner. You continue to sin, he ain't got nothing to hear. So he said, I have been witness. Go ahead and read.
And did not he make one?
He took you back to the creation, didn't he? Did not he make one? Go ahead and read.
Yet had he the residue of the Spirit.
Look, I could have went in the ground and brought up somebody else, but I had a plan. And I had a message to give you. She is you. And if you will not abuse or hurt you or put you away, then you don't have the right to put her away because she is you. Do y'all understand this message that the Lord is putting out here? Go ahead and read.
And wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed. Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let not deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
He said, why want? That you might have a godly spirit. You got a family with man and woman in it. The children have a good chance to turn out right. But when somebody walk, most of the time the children stay with the woman. You understand what I'm saying? Then she got males that want to, when he gets big enough, he wants to show that he's the man. He goes against his wife, his mother. Sometimes the mother has to go out and try to make a living and try to do all this because the man ain't doing what he got to do. Then the daughter go out and do something she ain't supposed to do. Then the young son look at the father and he see that he ain't did what he's supposed to do. Then he learn from him. He become irresponsible. Woman got to get some eat, money short. She got to go out and deal with some cat trying to find her husband. Then the daughter look at it, don't work out. Then she start thinking, my mama ain't too cool. And when she do something that's not too cool, she say, you can't do it. You can't do that, daughter. Hey, you did it. Don't you see what it means? Everything falls through the cracks, sisters and brothers. That's why the Lord said what he said about putting away. Read it.
For the Lord God of Israel saith that he hateth putting away.
Hate. That's a strong emotion, ain't it? He hate putting away. Because what he set in order in the Garden of Eden is going to become unraveled because of your misbehaving. But we don't deal with that, sister and brother. No, this is too hard. You know, Brother Boo, you ain't innocent. Of course I'm not innocent. I didn't say I was. I'm just telling you what the book says. That's why I thank God for the blood of Jesus. But once I get under, now I got to toe the line, sisters and brothers. You better know that. Go ahead and read, finish that.
For one covereth violence with his garment, saith the Lord of hosts.
Go ahead.
Therefore take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously.
He said, so you cover violence like a garment? He said, but I'm looking at you, so you better watch yourself. Don't deal treacherous with this woman, because the Lord going to weigh in on you sooner or later, sisters and brothers. It's just a matter of time. So Jacob kept Leah because he knew that the Lord hated putting away. He kept, and because he loved Rachel, he went on, possibly, and then he got involved with the handmaid, sister and brother. But this was all because these women were fighting. I tell people all the time, brother walk around with, I got 5 wives. Yeah, and look how they fight when you ain't at the house. Women squaring off against women. Now, and then the children going to get, you said that about my mama, our brother, all of a sudden it ain't nothing but chaos. And that's the way it is, sisters and brothers. So now, but at least Jacob, when he got into it, and he had to leave his father-in-law because his father-in-law cheated him constantly, he talked with his wife. Let's go into Genesis, the 31st chapter. Genesis chapter 31. But that's why I said, they look at Israelites on TV and the way some of them behaving on the street, talking crazy, talking about women, talking ugly. Give us a black eye. Then when I say, well, you know, I'm an Israelite, oh, no. I don't want to hear nothing you say. Then when I turn around and say, look, hey, but Israel, I said, I'm a Christian. Oh, no, you can't be no Christian. You're a Jew. Look, Israel is the original Christian. When they was first called Christian at Antioch, there was not one non-Israelite in the church. Jesus came as an Israelite. He would come through the tribe of Judah. They call him a Jew. Mm-hmm. All the apostles was Israelites. When the Lord got ready to send an apostle to the Gentiles, he sent Paul, another Israelite. So how is it you going to tell me I can't be a Christian and I'm the original Christian? In fact, I know what original Christian is. You're the one that put a brand of Christianity on the table that don't belong there. You know why? Because you forgot what the original Israelite taught you. In 7 AD, when Titus took Jerusalem down and scattered Israel all over the Mediterranean, word of God fell into the hands of the Gentiles and the Edomites. And when you look at what you've been going and look at it all your life in church and compare it to the Bible, you find out nothing fits. Have you ever noticed that nobody goes through a lesson like this in your church? You're going to read a verse or two, then he's going to preach to you. Tell you what he think God is on God's mind. I don't like interpretation. You know why? Because how can I interpret the mind of a being that created me out of dirt? And I can walk and reproduce myself. I can even get sick and fix myself. If they're way too long, I can even build a car to drive. And if that's too long, I can build an aircraft to fly. If a guy had the mind to create me that can do all of this and make it so I can reproduce myself, how can I interpret what's on his mind? And his wisdom over mine is further than heaven is over the earth. So that's why I say. So he gave this to the original Christian. And this is one thing, too. You're supposed to understand that if God sent you a wife, you're supposed to listen to him. He even did two of them. Verse 3. Genesis 31 and verse 3. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto Jacob, return unto the land of thy fathers and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock.
He said, now I want you to go on back to where your father's house, and I'm going to be with you. So he called his wife to him. Go ahead and read.
And said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before, but the God of my father has been with me. Now see, the Lord started to give Jacob some cattle too. He come up with a system. If we get speckled cattle, they belong to you. Street cattle, they belong to you. So all of a sudden, Laban wasn't so pleased with Jacob, because now the Lord is starting to bless Jacob. So he said, now your father's countenance has changed toward me, but the God of my father have been with me. Skip down to verse 9 and go ahead. Thus God had taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me.
You know, he didn't take away every cattle he had. I'm talking about a whole batch of newborn cattle. He gave over a period of time. He gave them to Jacob. Go ahead and read.
And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived that I lifted up mine eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring-straked, speckled, and gristled.
He know that the Lord was doing it then. Go ahead and read.
And the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here am I.
Go ahead.
And he said, Lift up now thine eyes, and see all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-straked, speckled, and gristled, for I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee.
The Lord said, watch what Laban is doing to you. Go ahead and read.
I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointest the pillar, and where thou vowest a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred.
He said, now I want you to get on with you and go back home. Go ahead and read.
And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house?
Now he's talking to his wives now. He said, do we have an inheritance? Look what our father's done. Go ahead and read.
Are we not counted of him strangers?
Uh-huh.
For he had sold us and had quite devoured us also our money.
So who was the victim here?
The children.
The women and Jacob. As he done took out inheritance, and he have sold us to you, mister. And he have devoured the money. These women now, they're talking back to their husband. Go ahead and read.
For all the riches which God hath taken from our father, that is ours and our children's, now then, whatsoever God hath said unto thee, do.
Ain't that something? Here's two wives with the two sisters. Said, look what our father's done to you. Look what our father's done to us. And they said, whatever God put on your mind, Jacob, do. That's a confident thought when his wives agree with him. They could have went the other way. Look, this is my father. But the Lord told you when he gave the man the woman, the man, then he said, you shall leave your mother and your father and cleave unto your wife. Well, it's the same thing with the woman too, sister and brother. He listened, and all of the fathers, they listened, sisters and brothers. Nowadays, we don't want to listen to our wife. You know, we smart, we the head. I guess you so used to being the tail of everything that you don't know how to handle being the head. That seemed to be the order of things. Now let's go and look at Samuel's dad. Let's go into 1 Samuel, the first chapter. 1 Samuel, the first chapter. That's why when you're confident, sisters and brothers, and when you know that you're doing the right thing, sometimes when it don't always pan out, you don't get all shook up and you don't go all on the defensive because you know you're doing the best. And if you do your best, there ain't nothing else you can do. Somebody else come up with something good, then you not so you don't and you don't allow yourself to feel inadequate. And if you don't ever feel inadequate, you can take good advice. You can take good direction because you don't feel like somebody's taking something away from you. We're going to start at verse 1. 1 Samuel, the first chapter, and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite. And he had two wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah.
Go ahead.
And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children.
So he had one that had children, and the other one didn't. The Lord did something here. Show you something, sister and brother. Now, this guy loved the one that couldn't have no children. So God let you know that don't mean nothing. Your duty means something. Just like it was when Leah and Rachel. He closed Rachel's womb up. She couldn't have no children. And Leah dropping kids all over the creation. You know why? Because Jacob loved Rachel and not Leah. And God let you know it ain't got nothing to do with your emotion. It's got something to do with what's right. It's all that simple. And a lot of people don't understand that all of the royal seed came by way of Leah, not Rachel. So now, he loved, but God closed one woman's womb and opened another. Go ahead and read.
And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there.
Go ahead.
And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife and to all her sons and her daughters portions.
Go ahead.
But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb.
So that was the difference. The Lord was giving you a message. Whether you love this woman or not, if she is your wife, there is a certain duty that you must fulfill. You can't allow emotion to get into it. But man, she made me mad, man. I walked out. That ain't got nothing to do with it. She your wife. You're supposed to do the right thing. A God going to deal with you, brothers. I'm just telling you like it is. So he loved her. So he said, I'm going to give you a message. He fixed her so she couldn't have no children. Go ahead and read.
And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her, therefore she wept and did not eat.
So what was the other woman doing? I can tell you, she was ragging on her. You can't have no baby, you don't belong. Sisters and brothers, this is what I'm saying. You ain't going to get no two women together and they're going to get along with one husband. It just ain't going to happen. And you got brothers trying to put this foolishness together. You can't feed the one. How you going to have two? What verse was that?
We just finished verse 7.
Skip down to verse 9 and go ahead.
So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto the Lord and wept sore.
Go ahead.
And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head.
Now, she vowed, if you would just give me a son, I'll give him to you. I'm going to make him a Nazarite. I ain't going to put no razor on his head. I'm going to give him to you for the rest of his life. Now, this man, she had to tell this man that what she had promised God. If I have a son, I'm going to give him to God. Skip down to verse 19. Verse 19 and go ahead.
And they rose up in the morning early and worshiped before the Lord and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son and called his name Samuel.
Now, so he laid with her, and she got pregnant, and she had a son and named him Samuel. Go ahead and read.
Saying, because I have asked him of the Lord.
That's what it means. Asked of the Lord. I asked him, and he gave him to me. So she was compelled to do what she promised. She had to tell her husband that. He rolled with it. Go ahead and read.
And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice in his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him that he may appear before the Lord and there abide forever.
Now, what would David, man, look here, woman, you going to give my son away to the priesthood? You got to be crazy. He didn't say that. He knew she had made a vow. And he knew that she had to keep the vow because she had made it to God. He didn't reverse it when it first come out of her mouth. So now she done got pregnant, so the vow is in place. It cannot be reversed without consequences. So she told him, and when I'm going to wean him, and I ain't going to go up until he get old enough for me to take up there, because I am going to leave him. Go ahead and read.
And Elkanah her husband said unto her, do what seemeth thee good. Tarry until thou have weaned him. Only the Lord established his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him.
Ain't that something? He said, do whatever seems good to you. If this is the way it is, this is his wife, this is her desire. He said, if this makes you happy, baby, so be it. And that's exactly what she did. She went and she left Samuel there, and Samuel became a powerful priest and prophet, sisters and brothers. He went along with her. But there are times, sisters and brothers, that if your spouse, be man or woman, make a vow to the Lord and decide to try and get out of it, circumvent it, that's the time, sister, you don't listen to him. Or either that's the time, brother, you don't listen to her. Whoever come up with the scheme is against the Lord. We're going to give you a good example. Let's go into Acts the 5th chapter. Acts the 5th chapter. That's why I tell people, go ahead and read this book. You're going to come to me for advice. I might give you wrong advice. Emotions get in the way. Like I said earlier, it have done it. Brother is just dogging his sister. Yeah, go ahead, baby. Just leave. I don't have the right to tell a woman that. You understand what I'm saying? That is not my right. I might have been and got myself in trouble. Now I'm going to get in trouble with the Lord. That's why I said, no, I ain't going to do no violence because I'm emotional. I'm more emotional than you think, especially when it comes to people being abused. And especially when brothers abusing women. I got a real problem with that. You understand? I told you about that guy that hit this guy for beating his own woman. Whoever that guy was. So being that I have a real problem with that, I'm the wrong person to be trying to counsel somebody about their matrimony. You understand what I'm saying? But I know that, and I ain't going there.